You don't make the list.
Hey, Adam Palmer, how are you?
I got him at least to move the conversations into this room.
Let's go. Here, 8:22.
Yeah.
Start at 8:30.
8:15.
Oh, it is?
Well, we don't. I don't.
I know.
Yeah,
I
we
wasn't
do.
sure if that
We
was
have
official.
We don't have a. We don't have a county department. Do we?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Library.
We're Cipelli. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Cipelli and Reddit's.
Yeah. So this is
And this Geraldo
Yeah,
Lanier.
Diana Geraldo.
Gigi Alessio.
Yeah.
Jennifer Fish.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
Yeah, whatever you
say
think.
anything? Yes.
Anything I should not say on here?
Looks pretty good for me. Yeah, Gary's gonna still, yeah. Gary's moving forward with the pin thing, but once he got his approval, exit, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that on there, did I?
No, you did pins. You said pins.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want me to gavel for you?
Should I refer to Sandelli as commissioner still, or no? Or just say Ray?
Former commissioner.
Former commissioner Raymond Sandelli as well.
That'd probably work. She's more the protocol person, but I think former commissioner probably works best. That's my guess, but that's a very uneducated guess.
I think it's pretty good.
Nancy, deferring to your protocol experience, is it best to refer to him as former Commissioner Sandelli or me? So,
Anything that's in here that they can read for themselves?
Yeah, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to say it's like a moment of silence.
and that there's a morning. Good morning. Morning, good morning, good morning. Please find your seats. Good morning, good morning.
Check, check, check. Good morning. Everyone hear me okay? All right, let's please take your seats. And we're going to get started. Please take your seats. And we'll go ahead and get started. Before we begin today, I wanted to open up with a moment of silence. Former Commissioner Raymond Sandelli's wife passed away on May 18th. He's not with us today, but we want to lift him up in our prayers and our thoughts. And if we could just take a moment to remember her and pray for Ray. Thank you. Unexpected. Continue to surround him in your prayers and thoughts. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with the pledge. If you would stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we will move on to member introductions. Warren, if you want to begin that process.
All right. Armor Persons, Chair of the Lee County School Board.
Good morning, Denise Carlin, proud superintendent of the School District of Lee County.
Rafael Lopez, a Village Council member. Richard Aiken, Secretary.
Good morning, everybody. Molly Scott with Christel Construction, Horizon Council Treasurer.
Matt Repsdorf, Vice Chair.
Devin Parker of the Sidney and Byrne Davis Arts Center and Arts and Culture Committee Chair.
Shelby Bauckham, STEM to Career Connections Committee Chair.
Good morning, Adam Palmer, CBRE, Sports Council Chair.
Karen Moore, Southwest Florida Business Today, and the Chair of the Business Resources Committee.
Good morning, Robbie Repsdorf, Edison National Bank, Bank of the Islands, and I represent the Industrial Development Authority.
Good morning, Angela Kunkel, Florida Gulf Coast University.
Good morning, Christine Belport, Managing Director of Communications and External Affairs for FSW and sitting in for President Albritton today, who is out of the country.
Good morning, my name is Tom Houlihan with the Industrial Development Authority.
Matt Price, Seagate Development Group with the IDA.
Jeannie Richards, representing ABC.
Mike Biskey, B&I Contractors, representing CareerSource, Southwest Florida.
Wade Cunnins, you're representing CCCIA, Cape Coral.
Jay Johnson from Bubba's Roadhouse, representing the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, Lee County Chapter.
Tom Mueller, representing the Chamber of Southwest Florida. Work for ReWorld. We turn all your trash into energy every day.
Good morning. Mark Bluss, Prombrooker Restaurant Group, representing the Sanibel Captiva Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning. Dan Adams with Stevens Construction, representing the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning. Cliff Brand, President, Greater Estero Chamber of Commerce.
Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Marshall Bauer, the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools.
Sam Fisher, Member at Large.
Mary Gentile, LQ Property Management, Member at Large.
Victor Gonzalez, Member at Large.
Dennis Landfried, Feinmark Bank, Member at Large.
Good morning, Beb Larson, ERA Lahaina Realty, Member at Large.
Good morning, Abdul Muhammad, MDM Ventures, Member at Large.
Christine Sardina, Tri-County Apprenticeship Academy, Member at Large.
Butch Swank, Member at Large.
Denise Vidal with LCEC, Member at Large.
Jen White, Fort Myers Brewing, and I'm Chair of the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce and Member at Large.
Good morning, Matthews Walk with Owen Ames Kimball, Member at Large.
Good morning, Bill Johnson Jr., Executive Director for the Horizon Foundation.
Laura Schmidt, President, Southwest Florida Tech.
Good morning, my name is Silvia Diaz. I am represent Southwest Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Ed Larson, sitting in for Eric Edwards, CCIM Treasurer.
Good morning, Brian Sauls, SHRM, Southwest Florida.
Good morning, Shane Spring, President of Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.
Good morning, Josh Philpott with Stantec on behalf of the Real Estate Investment Society of Southwest Florida.
Good morning, Richard Derling with Marvin Homes, representing the Lee Building Industry Association.
Good morning, everyone. Alan Canfield on behalf of Sheriff Carmen Marcino, Lee County Sheriff's Office.
Dirk Danley, Lee County Economic Development Office.
Good morning, Jennifer Rodriguez, Lee County EDO.
Good morning, Garrett Heiser, Lee County EDO.
Good morning, Kobe Chase, EDO intern.
Good morning, Jared Sherman, DCD intern.
Ann Campbell, I'm here on behalf of Commissioner David Mullica.
Warren Bauckham, Lee County Economic Development Office.
All right, is that everybody? Okay. Well, good morning. Thank you all for coming today. If you've had an opportunity to review the minutes from the general membership meeting of 4/24/2026, we'd entertain that. Bev, and do we have a second? Molly? Thank you, Molly. And any further discussion? All in favor? All right, the motion is approved. We have a great agenda today. As you know, if you've been to the last couple, we've been focusing in on municipalities. We were able to hear from Bonita Springs, and we heard from the Village of Estero, and today we're going to be hearing from the city of Fort Myers. So we're excited to hear all about what's going on in this great city of ours. And just a brief update that the Horizon Council Executive Committee has met and went over all of the activities of the different committees that we have and the task force and some exciting information there, just some highlights. The Sports Committee, led by Adam Palmer, shared that we had over 1.4 million visitors to the Red Sox and Minnesota Twins spring training during that season and time. What an amazing opportunity that is to bring in so many to this county. Adam Silver, also the NBA commissioner that was honored at the Edison Awards, shared that there may be 2 new NBA teams coming, and with that, there could be minor league team activity that maybe even could come to a city near us, right? There used to be a G League, what was it called, the Flame? The G League, so who knows, we may be a part of that someday. That would be great, wouldn't it? In the STEM to Career Connections Committee, Shelby shared that 2 teams from Cape Elementary and Fort Myers High advancing to the World Championship for Odyssey of the Mind. It's pretty exciting. And our AI High School Challenge will reconvene in October and November for Presidential AI Challenge. Exciting stuff. And the Development Task Force shared that there is going to be 18 census tracts that will be submitted as opportunity zones in this area. And they believe that about 9 of them would be expected to be approved. And this is something new, and it would allow for some capital stacks and financial incentives to develop in these specific areas of opportunity. So that's great work being done by the task force. The Business Committee task force, led by Gary. The Edison Awards are looking at opportunities to promote through raising funds through discount pins from local restaurants and various businesses to make it within the entire month of the Edison Awards to bring more awareness and to get more activity from the businesses. This is a worldwide event, and we think we can really promote Lee County in a bigger way and get the businesses involved. The Remote Workforce Committee, Matt Repstor is leading, and he's working with FGCU to do a survey to find out a lot of the information of the local remote workforce that we're going to be able to assess and how we can better support that unique area that's growing so rapidly. And Helen is not here today. She's sick, but she was going to share a little bit about the Industry Appreciation Awards, and I think we have Bill Johnson that we're going to ask to present on the foundation today. Bill, why don't you come on up? Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Ooh, that was a bit loud. Yes, good morning all, and thank you for being here this morning. Like I said, my name is Bill Johnson Jr. I'm the Executive Director of the Foundation. Just a quick couple updates for you. Let you know that the Foundation is currently on track with meeting its investment goals for the year. Thank you all the investors that are in the crowd. Those who I haven't talked to yet, we're always willing to take new investors, so come and see me, and we'll happily take your money. Just kidding, it's a Friday. But yes, as Ben was saying, we have our Industry Appreciation Awards coming up on October 23rd. Up on our website, horizonfoundationcouncil.com and industryappreciationawards.com. We do have our nominations open for all 7 of the categories that we will be honoring this year. Large Business of the Year, Small Business of the Year, Large and Small Manufacturing, Tech Catalyst, Startup, and Lead Trailblazer. So all the information, if you would like to apply for those awards, is up on our websites. We go through an extensive judging process. Once that's done, those nomination period will close on June 30th. We have a team that will review all those applications, select all of our finalists, and then we will do all the things getting ready for our great event in October. We'll have a President's Circle leading up with that, with the Red Sox hosting it like they did last year. So we're very excited about industry appreciation. One of the new things that we are doing this year is in our top key 7 categories, we are offering sponsorships. What those sponsorships entail is it gives you a further up seat in the crowd with the VIP seating, but you also get to highlight your business on stage, and you also get to present the award. We currently have 3 of the 7 categories sponsored. So if you are interested, come see me, and I will gladly give you some more information and get you signed up. The last thing that I wanted to mention from the podium is the foundation is always about giving back to the community, but we were very blessed to have some partners of ours put on an event where the foundation actually received the proceeds. We did the last meeting in March. We weren't here because we put on a clay shoot. Molly from Christelle, Gary from Cushman Wakefield, Bill from Morris Depew, and Jay from KeyBank sponsored that event for us, and the foundation was able to bring in over $6,000 that we could put to mission-related projects. So we do thank all of our key sponsors for stepping up and helping us put more money back into the community to help economic development grow. So that's all I have to report, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and Commissioner Hammond is not with us today, so we were not going to have a county commissioner report. We'll move on to John Talmadge with the Economic Development Office report. John?
I don't have a lot to say today. I just want to say thank you to Mark Moore for being here, our Assistant County Manager, and to Jeff Milkey, our Director of Sports Development. They're both terrific additions to Lee County. And I finally want to say that if it weren't for our educational partners led by Denise Carlin, FGCU, and FSW, that's our workforce training. Mike Biskey will tell you all the work we do at CareerSource. But if it weren't for our school board and our university and colleges, we would not have a workforce. So thank you for the work that y'all do.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. We are now going to have an update. This is something we're doing new this year. It's Lee County Department Update. And today we're featuring the Lee County Library System. And we're going to ask Laura Cifelli to share. Laura? Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of our director, Mindy Simon, I'm honored to represent the Lee County Library System, and we're delighted to be invited to your meeting today. With a familiar presence in our communities, nearly everyone carries a library memory. Maybe it's the low bookcases and tiny chairs of your school library, where a librarian unlocked your imagination or placed the perfect book in your hands at just the right moment. For some, the library is remembered through quiet reading rooms, the scent of well-loved books, and sunlight through tall windows. The comfort of these spaces is what carries with us today. For many, it's Wi-Fi, downloadable materials, job applications, online learning, and immediate access to information. But the library has always been more than one image or experience. The library is a place, both physical and virtual. It provides the opportunity to learn, to relax, to try things, to browse, to ask, and to seek. It's evolving along with its users, and the library is many things, and it's different for everyone. So what makes a modern public library unique is not simply what it contains, but what it makes possible. Today's library is an active contributor to the economic and civic health of our community. It's one of the few places intentionally designed for everyone, regardless of age, background, income, or circumstance. And that accessibility creates value that reaches far beyond the walls of the building itself. Across Lee County, our skilled library staff serve patrons through 13 branches throughout the community, as well as through remote and virtual reference assistance by phone, chat, text, and email. Whether someone walks through our doors or connects with us online, library staff help residents navigate information, access resources, solve problems, and connect with opportunities. Libraries support workforce development at every stage of life. Early literacy programs help build the foundation for future educational success and long-term workforce readiness. Students rely on libraries for study spaces, technology, tutoring resources, and research support. Adults use library resources for resume development, job searching, interview preparation, digital skills, certification, and career advancement. Increasingly, libraries also support entrepreneurs, remote workers, and small business owners. Through resources such as A to Z database, residents and businesses have access to millions of businesses and executive profiles, mailing lists, market research tools, and employment resources that can support business development, customer outreach, and strategic planning. Through Gale Business Entrepreneurship, aspiring and established entrepreneurs can access guidance on business planning, management, marketing, and operations. Our digital resources also support the development of a skilled and adaptable workforce. Residents can access self-paced language learning through Rosetta Stone and Mango Languages, helping individuals strengthen communication skills and improve competitiveness in an increasingly connected economy. Through Gale courses, patrons can participate in instructor-led online courses focused on professional development, technology, business skills, and job readiness. For many residents, the library is where they complete online coursework, apply for employment, build new skills, launch a side business, or gain the digital competency now expected in nearly every industry. In that way, libraries are part of the infrastructure that supports a strong business environment. The Lee County Outreach Team also brings library services directly to the community through in-person events and partnerships with local organizations. Those relationships help us extend access, respond to community needs, and connect residents with resources and opportunities where they already are. At the same time, libraries remain deeply committed to accessibility and inclusion. Through our Home Borrowers program, materials can be delivered to patrons who are unable to visit the library due to temporary or long-term circumstances. The Lee County Talking Books also serves as an advisory and outreach center in partnership with the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. And this service assists patrons with visual, physical, or reading disabilities and helps ensure that access to reading, information, and lifelong learning remains available to all members of the community. Libraries also contribute significantly to quality of life, something that matters not only to residents, but also to employers, entrepreneurs, and families considering where to invest their future. Strong library systems reflect communities that value education, access, lifelong learning, and civic engagement. Libraries are uniquely adaptable institutions. While books and reading remain our central mission, dear to our hearts, today's libraries are equally focused on technology, access, responsiveness, and connection. They continue to evolve alongside the community they serve, and perhaps more importantly, libraries remain trusted spaces. In a time when many people feel increasingly disconnected, the library continues to be a welcoming and dependable place where people can gather, learn, explore, and connect without barrier to entry. Sometimes the value of a library is found in the quieter outcomes: the child who discovers a love of reading, the job seeker who gains confidence, the entrepreneur researching a new venture, or the resident who simply feels connected to their community. Libraries succeed when communities thrive, and thriving communities depend on institutions that foster curiosity, adaptability, opportunity, and connection. We are proud that the Lee County Library System continues to serve in that role for Lee County, not only as a cherished community institution, but as an active partner in supporting the people, workforce, businesses, and quality of life that shape our region's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Wow, what a wealth of resources our libraries provide, and this is why we're doing these updates. Did you realize everything our libraries are doing? Thank you so much for that. That is so valuable for our community. Now we're going to ask our Horizon Council's nonprofit minute, Calusa Nature Center, Eric Raditz, to come up and share on the Calusa Nature Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I'm Eric Raditz. I know many of you here. This is my first time here at the council, so thank you for letting me have a minute with you all. I'm the executive director for the Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium, and many of you have helped us in the recent years, really build what the Calusa Nature Center is now. You also may recognize me. I run the Fort Myers Film Festival for the past 16 years, taking place this week. The Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium, we love nature, and we are all about kids and nature. So there's a couple of big things that we really stand for. The Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium has been in existence for over 50 years with help from the community along the way, and like any of us in our 50s, has seen its ups and downs. So I've only been there a couple of years, and since then we've really made it a point to show exactly what 105 acres, the Southwest Florida Preserves, can be, and engage with the community in ways that it's never seen before. We've seen advances with our memberships, with awareness, and I would, if nothing else, say, if I can get it in within this 1 minute, that each and every one of you may have an idea as to how you might want to help partner with the Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium, And I'm open to that and would love to receive an email from you or a phone call or a meet and greet as we want to continue to show what great treasure we have at the Calusa Nature Center. It's kind of like Central Park of Fort Myers, and we want you all to feel as if it is your park, it is your nature center, and we look forward to the continued outreach. My slideshow will go by pretty fast. We support nature, we support kids. There's ways to get involved. If you don't take pictures of these slides, which I'm sure you won't, I have also put the brochures in the back. So in the back, you just want to pick one up and look at it at your leisure and reach out to me. Let me know how we can partner. But nature and kids is something great. We have a lot to say about the Calusa Nature Center, which I won't get in a minute. But again, it's on the brochure. There's options and tailored packages to partner to make sure that everyone is aware of as what this means for the community. We have a vision. We've already, when I first started, if it was a family feud, top 7 answers on the board, what needed to be done. It was money, and the second one was money. And then the third one was do something about the boardwalk, which thankfully the city is helping out. We're getting the boardwalk repaired now, $1.5 million. That's something that people really miss about the Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium. We have the only planetarium in the 90-mile radius, which means we're extra special. We're playing only the best shows now with partnerships like those with the Fort Myers Film Festival, playing only the best independent films you'll find. We have obviously plenty of events that we've had there. You might be familiar with Haunted Walk, Holiday Lights, Earth Day, and others. And we're open to having more events. We just started one partnership with Pints in the Pines, which we're going to do again in January. We have included the new roofs, which were leaking. That was number 3 on the Family Feud board. And we're looking at a classroom refresh. So we are having summer camps that are excited about coming with our new improved facilities. We have an aviary. We have all kinds of birds. When I first started there, I said, why are these birds sick? And they said, well, you don't understand. These are birds that can't be re-released. So we're actually caring for them as they can't be cared for. But we do have that sanctuary. We've had strict kind of financial stewardship here in the last couple of years, which you can learn more about. We have the Iona House, which has been restored. It's been there for over 100 years, and now it's looking great. You can do events there, which is important to know. We have the Basic Museum, which if you haven't been there, it has snakes and alligators and owls and all kinds of stuff. And I'll see families coming in through all the time. We have over 1,000 memberships, and people love to visit. So you should all visit. That's another thing you should take from this 1 minute. Probably out of the minute by now, but just a couple more slides. We have different events, as I mentioned, Holiday Lights, Haunted Walk, Earth Day, Creepy Crawly Day, and we're always looking for new events. So there's an opportunity for your organization possibly to have an event at the Calusa Nature Center and Planetarium. Good reviews now, the last couple of years, better than ever. Like I said, we have repaired that roof. We have repaired both roofs. We have repaired the planetarium, and we have repaired the Iona House. So those are the number 5 through 7 on the Family Feud list. We have night hikes, field trips, summer camps, which is important. We've had debt reduction over the last couple of years. We've had public support and funding and revenue increases. So we're on the rise. We also have had a lot of partnerships. Thank you to all those of you. I don't know if Morris at Depew is on there, but we have a lot of people who are actually volunteering to offer us to continue this growth. I'm done.
Thank you, Eric. That is great. Thank you so much for all you do and bringing us the Calusa Nature Center. We appreciate that. We'll see you at Creepy Crawly Day, right? That'll be awesome. All right, so now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the feature presentation today, we're going to ask Diana Giraldo, our council person from Ward 2 of the city of Fort Myers, and she'll introduce herself in the panel that consists of Joe Bonera, Michael Alessio, and Jennifer Fisher. So with that, Diana, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Surprised I found my presentation. Good morning, everyone. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Okay, you should be more excited about this. I've been counting the days for a holiday. Thank you all so much for having me today here to talk about some of the projects that are happening in the city of Fort Myers. So I'm going to introduce some of the projects that are being led by the city of Fort Myers, some by the city alone, some public-private partnerships. And then, you know, as Ben mentioned, we have Joe Bonora from Catalyst Community Development. I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'm going to touch briefly on his project. Michael D'Alessio of D'Alessio Companies, and Jennifer Fisher from Jennifer Fisher Law. And they're going to show more of what's happening with private developments and what that represents from the development community working alongside the city of Fort Myers. My presentation is lengthy, so I'm going to go as fast as I can, bring in some humor to it if I can. So you might know some of these people. I'm in the blue right there. We are a body of 7 city council people working really hard to bring the city to the next level. Just for an informational purposes, if you are looking for particular maps of development, any activity, the Parks Master Plan project, the CRA projects, or zoning and planning information, we have a really robust map GIS system. It's in the City of Fort Myers website, and it's got a lot of information. If you ever need to know what's going on in the city, that's a really easy place to find it. As I mentioned, I am not going to steal Joe's thunder, so that's for him to share, but quick highlights. The News Press side, as you know, is located at the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Fowler Avenue. That is kind of like the gateway to the Midtown area. One of the things that I can share with you about this particular site and everything that is happening Midtown, the city has completely done the infrastructure design for the things that you don't see. You know, you see everything on top. Nobody sees what's underneath the roads and underneath the buildings. We had aging infrastructure, so the city's worked for the last, I don't know, 1,000 years with some partner engineering firms to develop what the stormwater plan is, what the underground utilities are. And so we are phasing that out. That is going to be put in place. And last year, we retained Dover Coal to kind of create a more of like an urban design and code updates to the Midtown area particularly. That effort is led with the idea that you have developers seeing what's really happening, the pretty stuff on top, but really aligning the codes to make it more of like this successful, walkable community, creating that quality of life, creating those spaces that the community is craving. So something really exciting is gonna come from that. As you might be aware, we have a fully designed police headquarters that will be starting construction this summer and is slated to be completed by 2028. That is kind of behind what the News Press site is on Fowler Avenue. Quick update on the Yacht Basin. That's a big hot topic. The developer has a larger plan that was originally there. So as you guys know, the Yacht Basin was destroyed by Hurricane Ian. Right now, they have been in permitting with the Army Corps of Engineers and DEP for a very long time. So until those permits are released, they are unable to start construction. So if everyone is asking, why are you not building it, where it's not particularly the city hands, it's on the state hands and the federal government to release those permits. Fire Station 18th. You've seen the growth on Tree Line Avenue, and that section of town had a small fire station by Pelican Preserve across on Tree Line. Well, the demand for those communities are much larger, so the city of Fort Myers is creating like a mini park / fire station on the south side of Tree Line Avenue, closer to Daniels, to be able to serve those residents and businesses that are in that area. City of Palms Park. I'm sure everybody wants to know about it. We recently approved the demolition of what it was there as the City of Palms Park. As you guys know, a few years ago, we had done a lot of community engagement and trying to get feedback from the community about what we would want to see there. So last year, we commissioned a study, an economic development study, to have a multi-sports complex. And so we are in the process of doing that with some consultants. And obviously, all of these plans will come together to provide a cohesive anchor for Midtown. We really believe that this is the area that is going to be a great anchor for our community in the redevelopment of Midtown. The boat ramp is going to be, will be located right next to the Riverside Center on Riverside Drive. We are currently still waiting on permits from the federal and the state government to be able to move forward with it. That has been fully designed. We're just waiting for all the permits to be able to commence that construction. If you guys ask or think it's like, why are they not moving fast enough? Sometimes it's not, well, sometimes it's funding, but a lot of times we're just depending on other organizations to be able to give us the green light to move forward. So it's kind of watching paint dry forever. So general obligation bonds. In 2024, the community approved a $75 million general obligation bond, and we have been really busy allocating the space and the priority of the projects that will be happening. I'm excited. Among other things, I believe that the Calusa Nature Center is one of those. The boardwalk reconstruction is something that is going to come from that. Why the Calusa Nature Center? Because we own the land as a city. We are the landlords of that land. And it's kind of slated for conservation for years to come. It's the only piece of green space with trees and all that that is really the lungs of the city alongside the 6 Mile Cypress Slough. There's a list of some of the parks that are slated to start construction pretty soon. Some of them are still waiting permits from the state government. But exciting, the first one is City View Park, which is in my district, and then the Forum Park, which we have a pickleball fever these days. So we're gonna have 14 pickleball courts. This is a little bit of the renderings of some of the parks. City View Park, Shady Oaks, and Dunbar Park, and the Forum Park. A lot of the stuff is like we had such shortage of open space for organized sports that we're making sure that all of the parks have that included in mind, and multi-generational opportunities as well. And Lee Health is like, yeah. Quality of life and health, you know, physical and mental health are a big deal to us, for me personally as well. STARS expansion, we have, is going to be 30,000 expansion for the STARS complex. It's gonna include, it's gonna be adjacent to what you see there at the STARS complex right now on Edison Avenue. Tarpon Pier was designed and reopened at the start of 2025. And then we have found this incredible opportunity, a partnership with the CRA and business of the community, creating pocket parks. They're so important for different reasons, but the first one that you see right there, you might see it on when you're driving on MLK, approaching Fowler. That was a Department of Transportation piece of land that wasn't utilized, and so we're able to use it for stormwater purposes, but also creating a pollinator garden and a rain garden that is servicing the community of that neighborhood. And it really kind of helps open up the gateway into the downtown and Midtown area. And then the other one that you see there is gonna have some shade added to it, but you see it and you're walking on First Street, and it's just a little place for people to come gather, sit down, listen to music. So we're activating the space with artists as well. The CRA has commissioned a study to see what possibilities are to support what could be the future of the Edison Mall and its surroundings. Definitely there is a lot of synergies between what the Edison Mall is and where the downtown and Midtown Fort Myers is. If you look at Broadway Avenue is the great connector, and it can open a lot of opportunities. So we are in the middle of that. You have heard of McCollum Hall. It's right there on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We already have a study completed by Parker Mudgett Smith to see what will be the future of it, and we have upcoming opportunities to activate the site. So we're super excited to be able to bring this historic site back to life and incorporating other elements to it. The CRA offering incentives and grants, so I'm not going to go particularly through each of them, but if you go to the CRA's Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Fort Myers, you will find all these opportunities and applications on how to get involved and be able to get some incentive grants for commercial sites. More incentives from the CRA right here. As you know, we have started this culinary district in the city of Fort Myers, so that is up and coming and developing. This is a great opportunity for the businesses that are catering, in the restaurant industry. It's a broader initiative to creating more than just supporting restaurants, but a place-making opportunity for everyone. Farmers market. Who has been to the farmers market? It's pretty great. Like, we had such great success since day one. So for those of you that have not been there, take the opportunity to go every Saturday. It's open from 9 to 1. Affordable home construction program. We have, the city created Affordable Housing Trust Fund a couple of years ago. And we have been very successful in taking over the completion of affordable home construction and creating the homeownership opportunities for people in the city of Fort Myers. With that program, I'm going to go back. We also have a particular track for people to get rental assistance. So the idea is that they have get that financial stability, financial literacy to be able to become homeowners one day. And last but not least, we are celebrating the 4th of July, and so we invite all of you to take part of this amazing celebration of the 250-year anniversary of the United States in downtown Fort Myers. And you get plugged in, you can go on the city's website, you can scan that QR code and get a fun message from our mayor, my favorite mayor, because that's the only one I have. You get those updates once a month, but it gives you a lot of this information. This will be very important for the business community to know. And with that, thank you so much.
All right, now we're going to bring up Joe Bonaro, Catalyst Community Development. We have some exciting projects to share with you.
Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Joe Benor. I'm with Catalyst Community Development, developer. Went to Cape Elementary, so I was excited to hear that they're doing so well, making the Odyssey. So, grew up in the area, live in St. Pete now, and actually all of the development that we do is in Southwest Florida. So even though I don't live here full time anymore, and I work up in Tampa, all the work is focused down here. And there's a reason for that. And a big reason is the partnership that we've been able to establish locally with the municipalities, specifically the city of Fort Myers and the CRA, the Fort Myers Redevelopment Agency. And we've been able to do a lot of things because of the support. And this project, which is the News Press site, is probably going to be the best example of that as we put it together. Because without the partnership with the city and the county, people like yourselves here, this project doesn't get done. It's a mixed-use project that has a number of components to it. I refer to it as the onion now because the layers just keep adding on top as we keep going through the design process. So we put this property under contract with the city last year. We've spent the last almost 12 months going through everything from environmental conditions, contamination, railroad tracks, name it. Gotten through all of that, and we engaged a firm and a gentleman, his name is Jeff Speck, firm is Speck Dempsey, and he wrote a book called Walkable City. And I read that book years ago. I actually met Jeff when he was in town probably 15 years ago. I'm a big believer in walkability and creating neighborhoods and places that attract people to live, to work, to play, where it feels good when you're walking around, the experience is there. And so we brought him in to help design the layout of the site, which you see here. And it's mixed use and it has residential. We've got a hotel planned, 228,000 square feet of office. Now this is something where I've become more vocal about it because I think it's so necessary. I think we've built 600 units downtown of residential. And what I can say is that what I think the next stage of development in downtown Fort Myers needs to be is office. We need to bring more employers, workers, people downtown. And so we have a big office component, which probably sounds crazy that we're going to build office, but I think some people would know Southwest Florida is one of the best markets in the country for office because we don't have a lot of new office space. And so a lot of this plan revolves around the office and the education component. So we're also looking at bringing in universities to downtown and to the Midtown area to create a hub that will have employment, education, because when you attract those things, when you attract the daytime workers and the students and the staff, you're going to bring more activity and more life to downtown, which is then going to feed into the retail, which everybody wants to see. So again, living in St. Pete and growing up here, I always say that, like, I just want to build enough here so that I can move back here because we now have all the restaurants and stuff you want to have at night, right? The nightlife. And so that's the whole plan and the idea here. So we've got the office and we'll have street level retail. So when you're in this project, you're going to feel like you're in a downtown. We're trying to build and replicate what is just a downtown urban environment, high density. So before you get into the vertical development of the project, the buildings, the nice facade, everything that looks good, you got to go underground first. And the bulk of our time on the design side of this has been underground and the infrastructure that's going to go into this place. So the city is now working on their utility plan. Yes, they're putting in all the stormwater and new utility lines. But beyond that, what do you need? You need broadband, you need wireless, right? You need to have resiliency. And so we're planning out our own fiber network. And we're working with FP&L to come up with a power plan so we have backup power so that when this thing is built, we're ready for the next 10, 20 years of growth. And so we've got a really nice plan that we've put together for all of that. Sustainability, it's important. So, again, we're designing this with all these things in mind. It's a lot of time. I mean, so my background, most of my development's been multifamily. So this is the first large mixed-use project that we're designing. I think I'm almost surprised at how much goes into the thought process and the planning of this. Seems like everything you do and you think about brings up another thought in your head about, oh man, what about that? And so it's like this continuous loop of things where you think about one thing, it generates another thought, and you're like, and you're trying to get in front of all of this because the last thing you want to do is get too far down the road and start building and then realize we under-designed, we didn't think about that. And so, it takes a bit more time to come through with a plan, but I think we've gotten there. And so what we're doing now in the design process, and this is pretty interesting. So we're building out, if anybody's familiar with the term digital twin. So it's effectively, we're going to design a digital version of what will be built. And so on the planning side of that, that will allow us to run simulations, everything from traffic to power outages to storms and what would happen, and broadband, wireless signal, so that we can, before we build it, run simulations to say, all right, if it's 5 o'clock, everybody's leaving or they're coming at the same time, what's traffic look like? Where are people naturally going to go? And then we could run different scenarios to see, all right, are they going to go off in Fowler, MLK, Central? Where are they going to park? How much parking do we need? Having built a couple parking garages now with projects and seeing that 25% of it goes unused, and you're like, well, this is an expensive, you're overbuilding these parking garages. How much parking do we really need? And so this will allow us to simulate times of day. So where we have an office building where people come at 8:30, leave at 5, and we have residential where people leave at 8:30, come home at 5. Can we share parking so we don't have to build 1,000 parking spaces when 500 will do. And so we're spending time now in this phase designing this digital twin, but then after we build the project, it goes into the operational phase, which is this now monitors all of those same things, right? Parking availability, power, broadband. And so this will help us operationally manage all of these different buildings so that, again, if there's any kind of power where we have to, time of day, if we have traffic issues, we'll be able to manage all of that. So this is another part we spend a lot of time. So having no coverage on the top of my head and walking downtown on a sunny day, you realize that it's really nice when you have awnings and shade and you're thinking about where the shadows are going to be so you actually can stay out of the heat. So we've gone through and done sun heat studies to figure out where we need to put trees, awnings, and buildings so that when we have the ground level retail experience, like the restaurants, that if it's noon on a Wednesday and it's really hot out, that you're still going to have comfortable areas to walk around and sit and eat and drink and enjoy it. And so we've gone through a lot of thought and time planning out the street level experience, because that's what drives these projects, I believe, right? If it feels good when you're there, people are going to want to be there. And so we've gone through and thought about where we're going to have street parking, trees, where the zones are going to be for all the retail, particularly restaurants. This will be very food and beverage heavy anchored. And so we've done here, you can see the shades. And so again, we had our architect on this, mass out the buildings and run time of day to figure out where all the heat's going to be. So we could plan out where we need to put, and here's the shade study. There is some science, there's a lot of art, and there's also a lot of science behind the design of these projects. So we spent time looking at all the successful mixed-use projects around the country that did it right to figure out what's the mix, right? So how many tenants, what percentage of tenants should be food and beverage, what percentage should be soft goods, what percentage should be fitness. And so now what we're doing is as we design the buildings, you have to think about who's going in there. How wide do the retail spaces have to be? How deep? Where does trash go? Does it go? You don't want to have this beautiful project and then you've got rollout dumpsters coming into the middle of the street, and trash right there 3 times during the week. So thinking about all of that and the planning stage, again, this has taken time, but I think it's going to lead to a great project. So again, we've laid out what's going to be there, a lot of food and beverage and entertainment. So then we got into like the street. So again, if you go to a great downtown, there's a way it's laid out, the sidewalk in relation to the front of the store and where the outdoor seating goes. And there's a way that you lay these things out so that, it makes the experience enjoyable while you're sitting there and people watching. You're in the shade, people can walk by, without having too much friction. And so what we've done is gone through and looked at where do we design the seating, the awnings, the width of the sidewalks. It's been fascinating to go through this process. I mean, just learning like the standards of like, you want 15 feet here with a 5-foot, walk lane. And so we've built out now a design standards manual. So these are the kind of reference images that we're using to design it. I'm a big believer in architecture, great architecture, design and aesthetic. I think, designing something where it's timeless, it looks great, it's going to bring people and it's going to raise the standard for everything else around it. So, we took this project on. We're finishing a project right across the street from this now. So this is in Midtown. It's, hopefully the next great place of downtown Fort Myers is where it's going to expand to. Having finished that project and then looking across the street to the News Press site, we just had to do this because you can't let it just sit there undeveloped. And so, when we think about how we want to design it, if we set the standard at the highest point, hopefully everything after this will follow. And then 10 years from now, you're going to see downtown Fort Myers looking, like one of the next great cities. Public art, we've got, again, the street level, the retail, the experience, there's a lot of thought. These are Water Street in Tampa. These are places in California. We're going to have, at the corner of the intersection there, a large water feature and sculpture. And this is a, massing elevation, We haven't finalized architecturals, but this will give you an idea of like the overall aesthetic of the project. It's all 5, 6-story buildings, so it's all mid-rise. For a number of reasons. One, just to make sure that the massing is in line with the surrounding area, but also for cost. The last thing you want to do is design a great-looking project that you cannot build because it's too expensive. And that happens a lot in development. You see pretty pictures, a lot of glass, a lot of great architectural features, and then it gets built and you go, what happened? You know, because once you get into the cost side of it, you realize that you can't build those things. So there's been a lot of thought put into how do you design something that can look beautiful but can get built and the economics make sense, because at the end of the day, you do have to make money building these projects. Again, street level, so we've gone through different concepts. What are we going to make it look like? This is not the final design. These are like right now, we're at the stage of figuring out, do we want it to be contemporary? Do you want it to be historic looking? So we're still working on different features. By the way, this was like a hand sketched that I converted using ChatGPT. It's amazing what you can do with renderings now. Unbelievable. So again, we're just, these are some general ideas of what it could look like at the street level. And then some case studies, right? So, you know, what will Midtown Fort Myers be? You know, I think a lot of that has to do with what the city, private developers, the community, how do we bring in and attract the health systems, the employers, the businesses that will then attract everything else around it. I do think healthcare being one of the biggest employers and industries here, having something where we have a health campus there, like Lake Nona where they have Medical City, is a great anchor. But I also think education. I think if you look at great downtowns and areas that develop, you need to have the higher education in place, so bringing universities to downtown, just campuses down there, is definitely something we want to see. Avalon, this is a mixed-use project up in Alpharetta, Georgia. It's probably one of the first and, I'd say most successful vertically mixed-use projects. Again, it's retail, it's office, it's residential, all in one place. And what you'll see over and over again is the value of all the components are much greater as a sum than they are independently, meaning all of these things play off each other. The office is more valuable because of the residential and the retail. The retail performs better because of the residential and the office. And so having them all together makes it more valuable, and it just makes a better experience overall. And that's my presentation.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you for your vision, Joe. This is really impressive. That's why his company's called Catalyst. You look at the News Press building today, and you think about what that can be. It's amazing, amazing. All right, next up, we're going to bring up Michael Alessio of Alessio Corporation, and I think he goes by Mickey, right, Mickey?
All right, good morning, everyone. I first want to thank the Horizon Council, Lee County leadership, our local partners, and everyone here today for the opportunity to speak with you. Lee County has truly become home for me and my family, and much of that is because of the people that are in this room. The support, the encouragement, the welcoming spirit you've shown us, your willingness to work collaboratively and build strong relationships within the community has allowed us to grow alongside Lee County in a meaningful and impactful way. My name is Michael Alessio. I'm proud to represent Alessio Companies, a family-built organization that has been operating for more than 60 years. What began generations ago as a small family business has evolved into a fully integrated group of companies specializing in development, construction, excavation, infrastructure, utilities, strategic investments, and real estate holdings. But despite our growth, one thing has never changed. We still approach every project with the same family values, work ethic, and long-term mindset that built the company from the ground up. Today, I want to talk not only about who we are and our developments locally, but also about what we believe the future of Lee County looks like, and how thoughtful, integrated development can play a meaningful role in shaping that future. Our family of companies includes Alessio Construction, VDR Development, Alessio Development, Multi Kitchen, McStone, Rock Venture Group, Superhost Hospitality, and several others that work together across every stage of development. At Alessio Companies, we operate through what we call a fully integrated development model. What that means is we don't simply acquire land and outsource the process. We own the property, we manage the developments, we self-perform the infrastructure work, we operate construction companies, we supply materials, we manufacture products, and we maintain long-term ownership positions in many of our projects we create. Our general contracting division comprises of Alessio Construction, VDR Development Group. We operate as a diversified construction team delivering high-quality projects from the ground up. We have also continued expanding our vertically integrated model through our material supply companies. Multi Kitchen, a full-service cabinetry and countertop company which provides turnkey solutions for multifamily and residential developments. Glendale Supply, which supports developers and contractors with premium commercial products, commonly featured in restaurants, office spaces, hospitality projects, and commercial kitchens. Completing our material supply division is McStone, which currently controls more than 200 million tons of limestone and mineral rights, while mining and selling between 2 to 5 million tons annually. This integrated structure strengthens our ability to control quality, manage costs, and efficiently support projects across every stage of development. We are also part owners of Rock Venture Group, a Southwest Florida-based private investment firm focused on innovation and future-driven industries. Through Rock, we invest in transformative companies across technology, infrastructure, healthcare, and automation. Some of those investments include HarborLink, a 41-mile fiber optic network connecting major data centers in the Northeast. MC Science, a biotechnology company developing advanced mast cell therapeutics led by former chief scientific officer of Pfizer. He was quoted saying, MC Science is the most promising opportunity in decades to efficiently treat mast cell-related diseases. And Rhoda, an AI robotics company developing fully autonomous robots for real-world manufacturing environments. This vertically integration allows us to maintain quality control, reduce delays, streamline execution, and most importantly, build projects with long-term vision rather than short-term transactional mindset. One of the best examples of this vision is Alessio Drive development, located at the intersection of I-75 and SR 82 in Fort Myers. A true mixed-use master development designed to support business growth, workforce housing, hospitality, retail, and long-term infrastructure expansion in one of the fastest-growing areas of Southwest Florida. Today, the development includes nearly 250,000 square feet of industrial space through Alessio Trade Center, featuring modern rear-load, dock-high warehouses with premium specifications designed for today's logistical and industrial users. The project was intentionally designed to accommodate modern operational demands. But beyond the building themselves, we're most excited about the businesses moving into the corridor. We've welcomed tenants like Ace Pickleball, Crisano's Bakery, Mitra 9, Florida Conquer Volleyball Club, and B&B Air Cool. Companies that are creating jobs, driving economic activity, and helping establish the corridor as a major employment center within Lee County. Communities need housing, they need services, they need infrastructure, they need places where people can live, work, and connect. That's why Alessio Drive Corridor also includes residential development, conservation land, and future retail and hospitality uses. Currently, 360 apartments have been completed within the development, with an additional 288 units that have already broken ground. Importantly, we've also preserved approximately 60 acres of conservation land by building a 1-mile spine road and supporting infrastructure that will continue serving the corridor for decades to come. That balance between economic growth and responsible development is extremely important to us. That same philosophy continues through our Eastwood Commons development along Ortiz Avenue. This project represents another major mixed-use initiative. Eastwood Commons will include a Marriott Spring Hill Suites Hotel that we will own and operate through Superhost Hospitality, retail and commercial spaces, multifamily housing, an ExxonMobil fuel station with Quick Express Market, and the Learning Experience Child Care Center. And again, these are not disconnected projects. They're designed intentionally to complement one another and support the long-term growth patterns and needs that we're seeing across Fort Myers. The Eastwood Commons residential community was designed with resort-style amenities, green spaces, pedestrian connectivity, and convenient access to nearby services. We understand that economic development today requires more than just simply building square footage. Businesses are looking for infrastructure, families are looking for housing, employers are looking for workforce accessibility, and communities are looking for developments that improve quality of life. We are also continuing expanding industrial opportunities throughout the region. Our Alessio Air Commerce Park along Daniels Parkway provides flexible industrial space near I-75, Gateway, JetBlue Park, and RSW Airport. A strategic location that supports businesses requiring regional connectivity and logistical efficiency. Additionally, Project Stella on MLK Boulevard brings highly visible industrial flex space directly into the core of Fort Myers. These projects reflect a broader trend we're seeing across Southwest Florida. Continued demand for industrial flex logistics and operational space as our economy diversifies and expands. But perhaps one of the projects that we're most excited about is the Royal Palm Square. Royal Palm Square is a transformative mixed-use development project located on Colonial Boulevard and McGregor Boulevard, designed around a true live, work, play environment. Phase 1 of the development includes 233 multifamily residences, an Element by Marriott Hotel with 125 keyed rooms and rooftop restaurant, and approximately 80,000 square feet of commercial space anchored by major users including Lee Health and the Learning Experience. This project is especially meaningful because it represents the future of a walkable mixed-use communities. Its pedestrian-first design, green spaces, tree-lined streets, walkability will create a major economic impact for the region. Royal Palm Square is projected to create hundreds of jobs, represent an estimated $350 to $400 million of capital investment into Lee County. That's not just development, it's long-term economic investment. At Alessio Companies, we believe development should strengthen communities, not just physically, but economically and socially as well. We believe projects should create opportunities for businesses, opportunities for families, opportunities for local contractors, suppliers, and workforce development. We also believe strongly in reinvesting locally. As a family business, Southwest Florida is not just a market to us, it's home. We live here now, we raise our families here, we employ local people here. We intend to continue investing here for generations to come. None of these projects happen alone. They require strong partnerships between local governments, planning agencies, economic development organizations, engineers, contractors, brokers, tenants, and community leaders. The collaboration we've experienced throughout Lee County has played a major role in our success, and we are incredibly grateful for that support. As we continue growing, our mission remains simple: build responsibly, operate with integrity, invest long-term, and create projects that leave a lasting positive impact on the communities we serve. We're excited about where Lee County is headed. We're proud to play a small role in shaping that future. Thank you again for everyone here today, and your partnerships and your continued commitment to economic growth and opportunity in Southwest Florida. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Mickey, and to your helper, that was wonderful. The video was really nice. And thank you for your commitment to Lee County and all you're doing, and to help us bring more quality health care to Fort Myers as well. So thank you. Now we're going to bring up J. Fisher Law Firm.
Well, good morning. It is so good to be with you all this morning, and especially getting to talk about something I'm excited about. I love living, working, and playing in the city of Fort Myers. So I'm just going to bring this up. All right. So my name is Jennifer Fisher, and this morning I want to visit with you a little bit about the ways that I believe the city has positioned itself for success. So who I am, again, my name is Jennifer. And for about the past 10 years, I've had the pleasure of being a Florida Bar board certified real estate attorney serving development clients in the city of Fort Myers. Along with that, I've had the opportunity to negotiate many public-private partnerships with the city, and I love my work. So this morning, I want to specifically focus on tools for the Midtown area. And even though I'm very excited and could talk for a long time, I'm only going to highlight two, and that's first, tax increment financing, and second, density calculations. So before we talk about Midtown, I want to review some history of downtown Fort Myers. As you know, downtown is a really fun place to be. It is thriving, but you probably all remember at one point in time, it was not. And I would argue that the CRA and increment financing has been one of the foundations of downtown success. So what is a CRA? You probably already know, but I want to make sure we are starting with a similar base knowledge. So in 1984, the City of Fort Myers CRA was created. Now, a CRA is a public entity established by either a city or a county, and it operates to eliminate slum and blight. So that slum and blight is a statutorily defined term. It ranges in definition from everything that comes to mind when you think of slum and blight to even property that is underperforming in the creation of tax revenue. CRAs also work to revitalize struggling neighborhoods and stimulate economic growth. And I'm so proud to say our CRA here in the city of Fort Myers has a wonderful reputation throughout the state. It is a shining star of an example of a successful and responsible CRA. And all of that started with a vision. So way back 4 decades ago, those CRA commissioners asked, what type of city do we want to leave to following generations? And so when you have a CRA, the CRA has to create a plan. So there is a written document. It is a long document. And if you want to have some really good bedtime reading, you can go online and look at it. Although there are some very interesting things. There's some great history in the current downtown plan. And so that plan talks about the priorities and the goals, and it's developed with community input. Also, the city council members are also the CRA commissioners. So even though they are two separate and distinct entities, there's great synergy between the two. But of course, when a government entity creates a plan, they're not the ones that are going to go out and develop that plan. They need the help of the private community. So they need to incentivize. And they had to create those incentives of how to bring great developers like Joe and Mickey that really care about communities in to create this plan. So the question then becomes, what carrot does the CRA have? And the answer to that is tax increment financing. So what is that? I'm going to read some definitions and then we're going to look at it through some visual aids. So tax increment financing is a special tool available to local governments that can assist economic redevelopment, which would not otherwise occur. So when a redevelopment area is created, and right now in the city we have 4 of those, property owners within that district continue to pay the same property taxes. However, as property values in that district increase over time from the date of its creation, up to 95% of the increased property taxes are put into a special redevelopment trust fund to be reinvested into that particular that district where the taxes were generated. And those funds have to be spent according to the CRA plan and the statute. Now, quick clarification. School district taxes do not go into this trust fund. They continue to go to the school district, which is great. So as that redevelopment is occurring and taxes are going up, we're getting more taxes into our school district, which is great. That's true for like mosquito control districts, things like that too. So in Florida, theoretically, our taxes tend to have a pretty steady increase. Why? Because we have caps on our assessed value. So your residential home, if you've homesteaded it, we know it's a 3% cap. So even if you live in a CRA district and around you property values are increasing, your taxes aren't going to skyrocket because there's a cap. And if you have a commercial property, of course, those are capped at a 10% assessment increase. So theoretically, we have a pretty steady tax increase. And so here, coming back to look at a picture of how this works, when the CRA is created, there's a base. And the taxing jurisdictions, so like the city of Fort Myers, the general revenue fund, and the county's general revenue fund, they agree, okay, we're gonna take the taxes that we are getting right now, we're gonna hold tight. And that's the blue. The green is the increase. The green is what's going into the CRA trust fund. And that's great, but that grows slowly over time unless we can get those property taxes to increase, right? What triggers a reassessment? Property being sold, property being improved or redeveloped or developed in the first point. So, early on in all of this, downtown, the commissioners were looking at downtown and thinking about how do we increase the taxable revenue so then we have money to go do all of these incredible things that Councilperson Giraldo was showing you that the CRA can do. And in the beginning, the commissioner said we need to incentivize rooftops. And so very similar to what Joe was talking about, they incentivized the rooftops. They got the people to come in. When the people came in, the businesses came in. And so all of a sudden, that tax base is increasing. Now the CRA has money in its trust fund, and they were able to utilize that money generated in that district, reinvesting it to do the streetscape. And I don't know about you, I love those brick paver streets downtown. And I love the great utilities that are downtown. And there are facade grants and business grants and all of these cool things happening all at the same time. So what does it look like when a developer comes in and they say, hey, I have a really great idea for something? Well, first, it has to be in alignment with the plan, right? So second, they come to the CRA and they say, hey, this is our idea. Can you help us do this? And then the CRA vets the plan, what's going to be developed. And if they find it worthy, they can say, all right, some of the benefit that you are creating, we will share that with you. So the parties enter into a agreement, a development agreement. All right, this is what I'm going to build. And when I build it, you, CRA, will rebate back to me a portion of the taxes I paid. And the agreement says the max amount that will come back and the max amount of years that needs to be paid out. So over here on the chart, you can see, maybe, never, oh, good, okay. So, blue going back to our original taxing jurisdictions, green going to the CRA, and then the yellow is what will eventually go to the developer. Now, the agreement's signed, the developer gets to work, they build their project, they get their CO, they go on the tax roll. Note, the CRA has not paid for anything yet. Developer pays their taxes. Noel Branding collects all those taxes, distributes them all to the jurisdictions. At that point, that is when the rebate goes back to the developer. So notice, this is a very safe program for the jurisdiction because the developer has to 100% perform its obligations before any incentive goes back. So then looking at the big picture, why in the world would taxing jurisdictions give up any money? Why would they do that? And so when we look at it here of kind of a representation of what goes on in a district, you can see, there are flat taxes for the taxing jurisdictions, but eventually the CRA will sunset, and it's kind of like a retirement plan. Here we are in all of our working years, and we're saving into our 401ks, and it's gaining interest. And even though I don't get the benefit of that money right now, eventually, someday, what's going to come back is a lot more. And all of that, for all of us as residents in Lee County, if that eventually helps us have lower taxes. So that's why that kind of happens. and to show, does it work? I mean, that's all the theoretical stuff. Does it work? Well, this is a picture of the downtown CRA from the CRA's website, and you can see how that tax base is continuing to go up. So in the past, of course, the CRA has, initially it was incentivizing rooftops, but another huge benefit of the CRA is that it's nimble. So it can really look at what's going on right now. What does the community need right now? Because every increment rebate award is discretionary. You can't walk in and say, you have to give me this. You have to earn it. So with that, where we were wanting to incentivize the rooftops, now we're looking more into infrastructure and what I get really excited about, affordable housing. So I just quickly wanted to highlight 2 projects that have increment rebates from the CRA. Both of these projects also are in partnership with Lee County and the CBD GDR Hurricane Ian Relief Funds. So this is the Bloom project. It's about 50% complete right now. This is at Hanson and 41. And it will eventually be housing for, and I love how they call this middle income workers. So these are folks, some of the units will be for people at 80% of AMI, which that's area median income, up to some of the units will allow for 120% of area median income. And just to give you an idea, because I know there's a lot of questions, what does that even look like? So 80% AMI for a single person, because it adjusts based on how many people are in your house. These numbers just went up too recently, is about $63,000. That's the maximum that can be there. For a family of 4 at 100%, 120% AMI, we're looking at just under $135,000. Of course, people with lesser income can certainly live here. Those are the maxes. And then this is Heritage Crossing, which was formerly known as Toll's Garden, being developed by the Fuse Group. I'm excited about this because it's a for-sale product for income qualified buyers. It's going to be 141 townhomes. All right, so I told you we were going to talk about Midtown, and then I talked all about downtown. So why is that? Why did we go through all of that? Remember that CRA trust funds can only be spent in the district in which they were generated. Well, a couple years ago, the CRA, working in partnership with the city and the county, expanded the boundary of the downtown CRA. So where it used to be up in here, it now comes down into Midtown. So what does that mean? It means there's gas in the tank for the redevelopment. So because as these companies, these bigger companies are coming in, right, they need the infrastructure, they need the placemaking, they need all those really good things, and the CRA has the ability to be working through those particular plans. In addition, there's an updated plan for Midtown. So when a developer comes in and says, I'd like to do something really cool, but I need help doing it. When there's a clear plan of what a community wants to see and a clear incentive program, it makes it so much easier for developers to come in and say, hey, I can align with you. And that alignment is where the magic of the public-private partnerships occur, right? Because we are all, the public, the private, we are all rowing the boat in the same direction to get to that plan. All right. We're on the home stretch here. Density calculations, I know they excite you just as much as they excite me. So for affordable housing projects under Live Local, they have access to density, right? They can get to the highest density amount in a jurisdiction. But what about your market rate? What about your luxury? So in urban areas where you would expect a smaller living unit, how do you get to the numbers you need? So City of Fort Myers Land Development Code section 118.1.6 gives us a multifamily density calculator. And it says if you have a smaller unit, so studio, 1 bedroom with 750 square feet or less, that's half a dwelling unit. If you have a 2-bedroom with 1,200, well, that's 0.75. So what does that do? It allows a developer to come in and create greater density, which can be even for luxury units, very important for their financing numbers to come together and work for these products. And now when you have very savvy developers like Joe and Mickey, they can even come in and present their own data to the city and say, hey, we think we should have this type of density calculation, and there's a way to actually get there. So, to review it all, I think Midtown is set up for wonderful success. There is a strong CRA in the area. There's some great ways to calculate density, and I cannot wait to see the incredible ideas that come in from the community and just revitalize that area. And with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Well, if you weren't excited before you came in today about Fort Myers and all that's going on, I think you are now. This is really impressive. So thank you to our guests. We are out of time. We'll ask if you can stick around a little bit for questions, and then we'll open it up for voter input if anybody has any. Anybody at all? Karen.
I don't need that. Okay, if you say so. Southwest Florida Business Today is presenting its first business-to-business event for the first time in 19 years. So all C-suite executives and local business owners are invited to attend on June 24th at Spanish Wells Country Club from 4:30 to 7:30. Its attendance is capped at 150. So it's to create a safe space for local business owners to connect and network. And it's the first time that I'm aware of any event like this is being done in the market.
Fantastic. Thank you, Karen. Anybody else?
2 weeks from today, Friday, June 5th, our Greater Estero Chamber has our annual dinner, and we have a great keynote speaker, and his name is John Talmadge. I know many of you have heard him before, but he's got some special remarks he wants to bring to the table. We'd love to have you. It's at the Hyatt Coconut this year because we outgrew our space last year, and we'd love for you to be there. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay. I think that's all then. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you to our hosts for having us and the hospitality. And we hope you have a great Memorial weekend. Take care. Adjourned.